This meme of the day is brought to you by, we're on a time limit, so no messing about. Also, I'm going to name off every single Brandon Yates match that could happen this season. Brought to you by Yang the Insane. Who else? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lads Discuss Death Battle. Your host, Bobby, Billy Bobby. And joining me as well as your only mate.
It's a shame we don't have a fourth person on with us, because I'm sure we could make a horseman joke.
And as well as Sean.
I'm thinking we're back, and I'm thinking Steve is expendable.
Anyway, so yes, we're here to discuss Death Battle coming back. And it's coming back with James Bond versus Baba Yaga. Am I saying that right? Baba Yaga?
No!
Isn't
Baba
it?
Yaga! You said Yaga!
Hey, I'm not too familiar with that phrase. I don't even hear it that much. I only heard it once in the first film, and then that's it. It's not really brought up that much.
You know, it's also brought up in the MCU.
It is?
Yeah, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, that guy talks about Baba Yaga.
Oh, I've never seen that film. I heard it was bad, and I just stuck away from it.
Dude, that movie was fun. I don't know what the people are talking about.
Maybe I'll give it a watch someday and form my own opinion, but from the clips I saw online, not impressed. Especially with the villain. Oh my god.
Speaking of fun, I say we had a fun episode to come back to.
Yeah.
I disagree, to be honest. Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, so, anyway, James Bond versus John Wick. And so, talking off the bat, humor-wise, this episode was fantastic. I was laughing a lot during the analysis, maybe because Dummy wasn't there. Boomstick with the fucking pen. I forgot about that pen as one of James Bond's, arsenal, but to be fair, though, he only used that to, break open doors. It was never really used for combat. To my knowledge, I haven't seen every James Bond film, people, so I could be wrong. But,
I like how people were going to complain that the Wick pencil was going to be a terrible running gag, but no, the Bond pen turned out to be the funny running gag.
But at least that played into the pencil thing in the fight.
I just love the fact that Wick immediately tried to use the pen to kill James Bond. But, okay, so analysis-wise, I thought it was really humorous and informative. Man, I completely forgotten just how much of an impact James Bond franchise has had on just almost everything, really. At least everything to do with, spy films, action movies. And, also, I didn't realize that much that... I mean, from the Daniel Craig James Bond, yeah, I always knew he was very dark and sad behind his whole charm and demeanor. I didn't realize every James Bond had some tragic story where they lost someone they love. Like, Jesus Christ. He's lost more women in his life than Batman has.
Too bad James can never have a bond with a family.
Haha.
Booch.
Sean never misses with these puns. Anyway, so what do you guys think of the analysis? Anything that really caught your eye? What was your highlight?
I love this analysis. Every second of it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. I like the detail you kind of do have to look out for. They sneak every title from the Bond movies in there, both in Bond's analysis, Wick's analysis, and the post analysis.
Yeah.
Wait, they forgot Octopussy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mate, it wasn't really that hidden. Even though I've not seen all the
Yeah, I
films.
realized as soon as I started talking, but then I was just like, well, in too deep now.
Can we just talk about this real quick? The fact that they made James Bond's seduction a highlight of this analysis was hilarious.
I think compared to every, ladies' man type of character we've had on Death Battle, James Bond just destroys everyone.
I mean, if you can seduce a female assassin sent to kill you to the point where she'll sacrifice herself to save you in the span of 2 minutes,
Yeah.
then you deserve some kind of award for that.
I think Bond should write a book about how to get ladies.
Oh god.
Also, I knew they were going to bring in video game feeds because those are canon. And just like I said to you, mate, the Golden Gun was not James Bond's. It was one of his villains. I did say that. When I was watching his reaction...
It got referenced.
I know, but I found it funny. Like, every time I was watching mate's reaction, he's like, oh, they got to give him the Golden Gun. I'm just there like, it's not his! Like, I'm sorry, that's just a little rant I had in my brain. I was just there like, oh my god, I told him this last time, and it's still going on.
Ah, well.
But I was surprised at all the weaponry they brought in from his games, like the camo suit. I was really thinking, like, are they really going to give him that?
I mean, they composited him from Daniel Craig to Brosnan? I think it's how you pronounce that name?
Yeah.
I thought it was Brosnan.
Well, I've always pronounced it how Sean pronounced it, so who knows, but...
I've always just heard it Brosnan.
One thing, I didn't really touch a lot of his gadgets, like, Jesus Christ, like... This man has gadgets that could rival Batman.
I mean, to be fair, you were sticking with primarily Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I mean, there was also some old school ones, like, you know, the cigarette rocket and stuff like that. And one thing I was a bit unsure about when they mentioned it, James Bond's car, because we never really brought up, so I was thinking, it's a battle between James Bond and John Wick. I don't think it would be fair to introduce, you know, the car that could defeat any goon if it's summoned. Like, James Bond's car is a walking Swiss Army knife, or gun in this case.
Yeah. They also did address in like one of the black boxes, like, yeah, if we had a car chase between the two, yeah, no, Wick's not winning.
Yeah. Oh, I have a sports car that's bulletproof. Oh, just bulletproof, eh?
I have an Aston Martin, custom made by my buddy Q. Isn't it nice? It's very nice.
But I did like the fact as well, though, that, you know, it wasn't utilized too much. You know, the moment it was in the fight, it was kind of just there in the background, doing its own thing.
I just love it with spitting during the animation.
Yeah, I guess, anything else you guys want to bring about the analysis before we move on to the actual fight itself? Or you guys good?
I just love the contrast between what they did with Bond's analysis, which is that comedic humor with a little dark side, but with Wick, it's mostly like a tragic tale.
Yeah.
They hype up Wick so much in this, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I think it definitely showed that, you know what, if we were to just take a lot of the gadgets and the car out of the equation, yeah, James Bond and John Wick are really even, including to their armor. I didn't know James Bond had armored suit, so it really did come to down. It was kind of interesting. I was like, okay, yeah, so John Wick does actually have a better chance than I originally thought. So I originally thought it was one-sided, because it's like, one's a super spy with gadgets, the other's just a guy with a gun.
Okay, and another thing I want to bring up about Wick's analysis real quick. How did you guys feel about them using Keanu Reeves for the martial art aspect for Wick?
It makes sense, really, because the fighting style that he does, he trained for, is used in the movie, so it makes sense to reference where they're from. The difference is that they added a gun to it. It's like that ramen meme. Shows like a delicious ramen. Add a gun! That's John Wick's fighting style summarized.
So this is a Chinese martial art. How do we make it American? Gun.
Yeah, basically. But, I mean, it's not like, oh, they just took some random things Keanu Reeves did in his own life and they just gave it to John Wick. You know, that would have been stretching it.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, otherwise the episode might as well have just been called James Bond versus Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with that is, like, the reason I did it is because Wick's martial arts are, like, a secret, so I think it's fair play, I think.
And like you said, it was shown in the movie when he used these, so it makes sense to at least reference them. But
Definitely.
When they were listing off all of John Wick's kills, like I've seen the films, I just completely forgotten like how many people he's killed and just with what weaponry. Oh, pardon me, it went into my Rick voice down.
He's like, I've killed a lot of people. The Continental. Now we can't give you any weapons, Wick. I'm sorry. It's fine. I shall improvise all my kills from now on.
Yeah, like Agent 47 from Hitman's improvisation is nothing compared to John Wick. That's like Jesus Christ. Look, I guarantee. I'm gonna call this now. Next John Wick film, he's gonna kill someone with a fruit. I'm saying that right now. If that happens, we need to reference
Double
that.
down and say what fruit it's gonna be, man, because I'm gonna guess pineapple.
I'm gonna guess an apple. You know what? Yeah. I mean, when's the next film? Next year?
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Let's see who he kills. I mean, who knows?
I mean, you know what they say: an apple a day.
Well, in this case,
Does not keep John Wick away.
There you go.
yeah. So, I will admit, I don't hate John Wick or anything like that. I love his films, but I've always saw them as guilty pleasures. But just being reminded of that poor little puppy. That puppy wasn't even a year old. Just, that was hard seeing. Let's be real here. When we saw that guy get shot in the face, that was worth it.
Can we also say how sad it is, like, at the end of the fight? Like, that little detail that they included?
I think we should wait till we actually get into the fight itself.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, I've said my piece about the analysis. It was funny. I was a bit off of when they mentioned the car for James Bond, but overall, it was fun. And, the pen gag is great. But any highlights from you guys?
The pen gag, mostly.
Well, besides what I brought up, anyone else notice that they didn't give any actual clear-cut numbers again?
I mean, to be honest, there's no real feat that required it, really.
This is like the only downside with like the analysis, honestly, when they came to explain the winner. I would have loved to seen like how much faster the winner was.
Okay.
Yeah, that could have worked.
Okay, yeah, I suppose so, because they did make, I did like the fact they brought up that scene that I brought up last time where he killed those, when James Bond killed those mercenaries before they could even shoot, even though they were aimed right at James Bond. But yeah, we're not given a number, it's a bit awkward, but at the same time though, they did show that John Wick couldn't really dodge bullets, and on a lot of occasions he's just taken the bullet, whereas they've shown James Bond casually dodges bullets like they're nothing. Man, he'll be the worst person to play dodgeball against.
Hey James, think fast, and you dodged it, and you're throwing it at my head.
You're still processing it, but you're already on a hospital bed in the hospital. It's like, you've been out for like 2 weeks, Sean.
Ouch.
That's how fast he took you down.
How many women has Bond seducted since then? It's a better question.
They just reply, how many hasn't he seducted? Alright, but... So let's talk about the actual fight itself, because I have some things to say. Although, do you guys have anything else to say about the analysis?
I'm good.
Right, so...
I just noticed a tiny background detail in the fight, because I'm watching it in slow-mo.
Right, before we talk about the detail, let's talk about the controversy that many people have with this, because let's not be blind and say people don't have issues with some of the animations fight. I will say this though, it's not the worst animation in the show in general. There are still some episodes that don't hold up quite well. But oh my goodness, the first minute of this fight just looks so bad. Just bad. Not, it's a bit rough. No, it's bad.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. I feel like that's more so on the model for Bond specifically.
I think
the environment was fantastic. I love the Marriott. Wick's Payday 2 model looked good.
Oh, that's his Payday model. Oh, good. I mean, even just watching it in slow motion, just a bit where he picks up the chair, that just looks so robotic. His head stays in place while his body moves. It looks so bad. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
people.
I will admit, the first, physical fight between them at the bar, that's a little janky.
A little? Listen, I've seen rock and sock and robots that moved more human than this.
So I'm going to bring this up, because I feel like we had Team Dad back again for this one. this was a concern for a lot of people when it came to like grounded hand-to-hand fight, especially when you take a look at Boba Fett and Predator for this one. And you can definitely tell there's a difference. Like, I feel the hand-to-hand combat with Fett and Predator was done a lot better in like the first minute compared to this one.
Oh yeah, like it was fluid. Like Boba Fett moved very fast, yet you could see the little like movements on his arms and legs matched to his body. But this one, like especially in slow motion, like, I've watched it twice today just to watch it normal. I thought, okay, it's a bit janky, but watching it in slow motion right now, they look too, especially the bit where James Bond slides over the table. That does not look smooth at all. Like, oh my god. Don't get me wrong, it was funny how they both try to shoot each other and they both just like bounce back from the recoil of the guns. From the impact of the bullets. That's pretty funny. But and you know, I will say that much. The humor was great. Like, you know, James Bond being witty and you know, sarcastic a lot of the time, and John Wick's just full on trying to be serious. That's great.
Yeah, this was written by Liam, I believe.
Yeah, who makes a cameo as Q.
Blimey, did you guys hear that thunder behind me?
No.
Jesus, I think 4 doesn't like Liam. It'll probably be picked up on my microphone, but I'm just looking back right now. Yeah, Poseidon's outside. It's a war.
Wow, I guess due to that timing, you could say that was right on cue.
Oh my god, I can't even be mad. That was great.
All right, that's the episode. Thank you folks for watching.
I had to give an applause for that. Oh, that was brilliant. See, people, sometimes our improvisation's good. And so I won't say too much about the first few minutes, because I will say once they fall through the floors after a pretty funny pen gag, it does get really good. It starts getting more smoother, and I did enjoy the last half of it, especially in slow motion. When you watch it, it does look much better when they're on the second floor, or I guess the first floor in this case.
I just love how Steven, who's playing Bond, is just like, to be honest, I completely lost count.
Yeah, that got a good chuckle out of me. Surprisingly, no one on the bus looked at me when I did that. Maybe at this point, everyone near my workplace is just so used to me laughing. Aside, you know, the really bad few minutes, there's not really many highlights of the fight itself for me. Even the kill was pretty meh. I mean, especially comparing like the films that these two have been in, and you know,
I think it's a cool concept, not that good of an execution.
Yeah, Iron Hawk actually said on Duo's Discord server that was a kill in one of the James Bond films. I'm just going to say that right now. Just because it was in one of the films doesn't mean it's that much of an impressive kill. You know, if it's a nice callback, sure, but there's so many great deaths that James Bond and John Wick have had. Like imagine if he used a pen, stabbed John Wick in the heart as a like a callback to, you know, ironic given the man is used to killing people with writing utils, and he gets blown up by the pen. That to me is a James Bond and a combination of a John Wick death. Of course, you know, the car spinning around was also that was pretty funny.
It was. You just see Wick and Bond go into a knife fight, and then the Aston Martin's just going, "You spin me right around, baby, right round. Oh God, I can't stop spinning."
How many bullets?
I also like that shot. I also like that shot when John just like puts his arms around himself and just like tanks it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they just wanted to emphasize he's still got that bulletproof suit, but that would not survive a minigun shot, especially like 5 shots from a minigun. Like, those things were made to shred military-grade vehicles. But obviously, you know, that would be a rubbish fight if it just ended like that. Actually, no, there was one highlight. You know, when they both get their guns back and they recreate that James Bond opening with him shooting the gunman. That was clever. I liked how they did that.
A small part of me did think that was the end of the fight, but I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, that would have been a good reference, a weak way to end the fight. It reminds me of when Richard told me, well, not told me, but when you guys did Nerdbender, he was, and, you know, compared to and Drake's death and his death battle, he wanted to see him just get shot in the face. It's like, nah. So I'm glad they went a bit over the top with this one.
Yeah, like it's more creative than just one of them getting shot. And can I just comment on Wick's last words?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, John Wick, you got any good last words? Yeah. Well said.
What was your highlights for you guys? Like, which moment in this fight stood out to you? And honestly, I'm very curious. What do you guys think about the animation in general?
I like it.
Trash
I had fun with it. Like I know there's like some jank here and there, but it's not enough to like bother me too much because there's enough like fun stuff sprinkled in. Like when John grabs the pen, like calling back to the whole pencil thing, you'll lose track of all the clicks, and you know they make a little gag out of it. We're just I lost count. Kaboom.
Oh, I mean, I definitely love the voice acting with Wick and Bond this time around.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Here's what's funny. Stephen Kelly was on here, and and Bill probably remembers him mostly as Dr. Doom.
Maybe.
And
His win streak continues.
believe it or not, Wick's voice actor was actually the voice actor of Raiden. This was Mornell.
Oh,
as
okay.
Wick.
So his losing streak continues.
I think Mornell's a she, or they.
Oh, okay then. So their losing streak is continuing.
That's 2 so far, right?
Yeah. Literally
still-
back to back. Mornell's
Still
doing
gonna
it. And
Still gonna catch up to the likes of Chris Guerrero.
honestly though, like speaking of that, like I couldn't tell this was the same person who played Raiden at all. Like Mornell definitely put differences between Wick and Raiden.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's funny, like, Raiden was more, like, angsty and everything like that, and John Wick was just more grouchy.
It's always funny when you get that with voice actors in Death Battle. It's like when you realize that Sephiroth and Mario were voiced by the same guy.
Yeah, it's just the range of both Stephen and Mornell was definitely on display here.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm gonna bring up, I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I wasn't really that big on Secret Service, the soundtrack.
I think it's fine, but it felt more like a James Bond theme than a John Wick one, which is a problem I've had with certain soundtracks where you can tell it sounds more like it's fit into one character over the other.
Yeah, I get that.
Still, it's.
I mean, they're all like... I haven't listened to it on its own, but it sounds like one of those tracks where... Like, it's best to just have it be in the background of this fight and not really like a track you would like jam out to by itself.
I've listened to it after the death battle, and yeah, it's fine on its own. But there are moments when I could tell, yeah, they clearly put it like that for the fight. It wasn't meant for listening purposes.
Mm.
Especially the awkward slow-mo pause it does between the music. Yeah, a bit awkward.
There is like another thing that I'm gonna bring up because we talked about this in private, but the audience doesn't know. If you guys recall, back when we did our predictions for Bond versus Wick, I went with Wick, and I lost.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Days after that, Paige had the idea to do a forfeit if Wick lost because of how close this is. I couldn't do it today because of a storm that hit us. On the next last Discuss Death Battle session, John has to wear a pink suit because Wick lost.
Hey, going with pink to make our viewers wink?
Says the guy who didn't do a punishment for Excalibur versus Raiden.
I didn't have to do one. I didn't agree to it.
Yeah, mate would never ever commit to like some losing thing when it comes to bets. If there's a winning option, he'll take it, but he'll never accept one if there's a losing option. He's a pussy-hole.
I am what I eat.
You don't eat pussy. Shut up. You alright there?
I took a drink.
Oh, you poor son. Have you guys not learned by now?
No.
That again, do we ever learn?
No.
Right, so when it came to their explanation for this, honestly, yeah, it was pretty, interesting to see how even these two were. Obviously, I think they should have done a bit more when it comes to comparing their speeds when it comes to gunfire. But I think in this case, given the fact John Wick's not that great at dodging bullets, hence why he always has to wear body armor and always has to go in for the close, the quick succession with kills, whereas James Bond's more skilled in both hand-to-hand combat and marksmanship. So I think it makes sense why they didn't really do a number, because when you really look at it, it just came down to James Bond being the better marksman, which is what I brought up in. Which I brought up in my prediction.
I think it would have helped with the whole quick draw thing, because sure, avoiding bullets is one thing, but I feel like when it comes to quick draw speed, that is definitely a different factor.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think has John Wick really shown any quick draw feats? I don't think he has. Like I said, he's a character that usually goes all Batman. He appears out of the shadows to strike his opponents. And, you see it when he's combining gun fu, he's aiming to both overpower the opponent while getting in that shot at close range, whereas, he is good at long range, but if you notice in the first film, he has to be steady with his weapon to get a clear shot, whereas, you saw when they were explaining James Bond, he's firing an automatic rifle and hitting a guy that's half a meter away in the head. So clearly showing...
This is actually...
showing the mark.
I've seen people actually disagree that Wick should have won. I want to bring this point up real quick because of the knowledge I have as shown in Wick versus Bond with firearms. Okay, so one of the complaints I heard was that Bond's not that good of a marksman because it took multiple shots to destroy a helicopter fuel tank. So I'm gonna address this real quick. If you recall, Bond's pistol uses 9mm. Right? 9mm is not that big. So it didn't take him multiple shots because of distance. It took him multiple shots because of the caliber of his gun. Even with that whole shotgun sort of thing, it would still take multiple shots to destroy the fuel tank and pierce it.
Yeah, plus he still hit the fuel tank. Just because, it took multiple shots doesn't negate the fact that his accuracy is still, unmatched. And just like the scene here, he's firing an automatic rifle with one arm and hitting a guy in the head in the distance.
I think people just assumed it wasn't that. It took multiple shots because he missed. No, he did not miss those shots. It's because of the caliber of the Walter pistol.
Yeah, so I think, and not only that, I don't want to say, people are wrong, James Bond stumps, I'm Batman. But no, it's, when you do a comparison to, multiple, honestly, just the idea of, anyone could disagree with an episode. Hell, there are people out there that disagree with Cora versus Storm. So, and, I'm sure they could probably make an argument. And, yeah, like I said, we can see there is a chance how John Wick can win. But something Death Battle and loads of people have said, it doesn't matter if they can win in a specific way. Comparing everything they have, James Bond just had more gadgets and was just a better marksman.
Yeah, that's honestly what it came down to, was just those two factors.
Because, like I said, if they took away his gadgets, then it would be even closer. It would really depend on their marksmanship then.
And even then, it would just more so be a factor if Bond can get through that bulletproof suit, which I think logically he could after a while.
But he could just go for a headshot.
Yeah, I mean, but that's something bad guys never think about.
Neither do movie heroes.
That's true.
This was, see, everyone should, every single villain in a movie should be saying what Thanos said. You should have gone for the head.
I mean, look at how well it did for Thor when he fought Vegeta.
Exactly.
Open an old wound, Sean.
He's the only one so far this season who went for the head.
Alright, well,
Oh
yes.
my god, that's actually true.
But yeah, so it's not a stomp like some people are saying. You know, it did come down to specifics. And overall, I'm really in. I wouldn't say I enjoyed the fight as much. I enjoyed the analysis for its humor. But I will say as much: Magneto versus Tetsuo. I apologize because so far this fight's at the and comparing just the fight itself, this is probably on the bottom of my list at the moment. Just for
I
the
told you
awkward...
Magneto versus Tetsuo was good.
I mean, compared to this, yeah, because at least Magneto vs. Tetsuo has memorable moments in the fight. You know, the giant mutation, and even the kill was pretty good, and the end of the fight. Just not many moments in this fight that really grabbed me. But yeah, and maybe if I was more of a die-hard fan of these two as well, maybe I'd like it even more, because when I did look in the comments, surprisingly it's not as salty as it usually is. It was actually kind of sweet in some cases. People saying like, oh, you know, with the final James Bond film coming out, it's great to see James Bond still showing to be the badass he is. And, you know, people saying, oh, this is, you know, filling the gap for the hype for the next John Wick film. So, yeah, I was actually really surprised at how sporting a lot of the people in the comments were. It's refreshing.
Hey, so I noticed a couple of details in the fight while we've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
One, that lift that James comes out of at the beginning, it never closes.
Oh.
So, I don't know, like this hotel bar, whatever it is, someone should get on that. Also, that moment when Wick goes in to tackle Bond, for a split moment, you can see a bartender in the background. Like, he's only there for that one shot.
By the way, I found the storyboards were tweeted out of this episode.
Oh, okay, let me get some...
Look at that.
Yeah, you know, I'll get some images for the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows who that bartender is?
Yeah.
Maybe he, like, ducked for cover after the first shot was fired, comes back up. You guys still fighting? Oh, you are back down.
I mean, if it's one of the bartenders from Yang vs. Tifa.
That was Tifa, and she died.
There's multiple bartenders at bars, mate.
You know, given the fact that John Wick referenced the fact that this is a property of, like, the secret organization of his group, maybe that assassin just opened a safe room, was just like, yeah, I'm chilling in here until this is done. I'm not cleaning this up again. I will admit, the storyboard, very more anime compared to the fight. I don't know, seeing James Bond all anime-like is pretty off-putting.
I mean, I more so question what the fuck is going on with their hair.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the storyboard's art style, so, you know, it is what it is.
By the way, can I just say, like, there are all these, like, portraits in the background of the fight. How awesome would it be if they were all shots from previous death battles?
Missed opportunity, Death Battle.
Like, really cool ones.
Missed opportunity.
See, so I'm trying to look at them and be like, is that familiar or referencing anything, or is that just some random picture? I think they're just random pictures.
Oh well, it is what it is. But anyway, so I think we've all said our piece about this episode, right?